Do you want to get paid passive income without the fear of losing money? Yes, of course. That would be exciting, right? Then listen up, my friend, because everyone knows that the most important thing to know about investing is one word: cash flow. Does it have cash flow and put green in your pocket every month or every quarter? Then you are getting paid. In fact, in this exciting episode, I will show you all the cash flow basics you need to know, including the best top 5 income producing assets that produce thousands of dollars of cash flow. Why cash flow is the boss metric of investments, okay? How to get started with each one, even if you don't think you have enough money to invest, and the beginner's secrets to unlimited cash flow and avoiding costly mistakes. And while there are things to learn about investing, anyone, yes, even you, can do this, okay? In fact, if you stay till the end of this video, I'll share something special with you. The secret to using these income producing cash flow investing ideas without the fear of losing money. Because no one wants to work forever, right? Pouring their energy into trading time for money when you can let money work for you. Yes, work smartly. Get paid passive cash flow income on autopilot, never having to work for money ever again, and spending your time with your family while living your true purpose in life. Now, sounds good, right? But before that, if you like videos about making money online, getting results, and living the choice lifestyle you deserve, hey, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and join us, the Choice Crusaders crew. Also, if you want to know my #1 recommendation for making money online that will empower you with the mindset and the skill set to live free, then hey, check out the link in the description below. All right, my friend, let's get into today's video. All right, hey there, friend. Let's get right down to it. All right, gonna share with you these 5, what I believe are the 5 best income producing cash flow assets that you can take advantage of right now, okay? Start making cash flow right now, okay? Let's get started. #1, before I get into it, I gotta explain to you why cash flow is probably the most important thing you should be looking at, because that's exactly what it is, okay? Cash flow is how much cash is flowing into your household, into your pocketbook. And I explained this in a previous video that you may want to check out, where I'm talking about how cash flow solves a lot of your problems. If you invest for cash flow, that means the amount of cash, green, chips that are flowing into your house, that solves all your problems in terms of helping you pay off more debt, helping you create more wealth and invest in more assets, which tends to create more cash flow that comes in your household so you can do more things. And so when you look at businesses, anything, it's all about, the revenue that they're making and the earnings and the profits that they make. The most important part is the cash flow, how much cash they have when it's all said and done, because that's what allows them to invest more, to pay off debt, to do all kinds of things. It just improves flexibility. So it's really important for you. So that's why I'm really all about cash flow, okay? Cash flow every single month coming in your pocketbook. So what are the assets that you can use, that you can invest in, that will help you get more cash flow, allow you, give you that more flexibility, allow you to be able to get paid over time? You put in the work to create that cash flow, but over time you build the systems that create more cash flow, that increase the systems, and then increases more cash flow for you to invest, increase your systems. Well, over time, without you having to do all the work yourself, that it's just self-perpetuating on its own, right? Passive income. Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now. Okay, #5 right now, and I'm going to count them down in no particular order, but it's kind of the way I like to look at it, is peer-to-peer lending, okay? Now, if you've never heard of peer-to-peer lending, essentially what it is just basically you taking money that you have and lending it to other people, okay? Lending it to other businesses. So this is you, and you can lend money that you have, whether it's $5,000, $10,000, $25,000 that you have, maybe you have laying around, and you're looking for some returns. Well, you can lend it to other qualified people, business owners, entrepreneurs who are looking for that money for a variety of reasons. So all of a sudden you become like a bank, right? And these have become really, really popular because maybe people are not able to go to like banks or credit institutions to get credit because maybe their credit scores aren't that good, or the origination fees are so bad, or whatever the case may be. And instead they come to people like you that have cash, okay? And here's the cool thing about it is that you can lend, generally you can lend any amount you want, right? You can start small, so you don't even have to have like a lot of money. You can start off with like $25, $100, $1,000, right? On a lot of these platforms, right? #2, platforms are taking care of all the big heavy lifting for you when you want to like basically lend. Like Well, two of the biggest ones that I know of are Lending Club and Prosper. They've been around for a while, and they've just pretty much handled the entire setup between you, the lender, and the borrower that's borrowing the money. They do all the things. They take care of all the interest rates, the origination, the transaction. So it makes it really, really simple. And you can sit back and collect really good returns. Like a lot of them talk about 5 to 8% returns on their money, lending it to other businesses. And the beauty about it too is you can determine who you want to lend to, right? Based on the interest rate. If you want higher interest rate returns, right, then that means you're going to be probably lending to more riskier people, right? And they have better credit score. So maybe you don't want to take risks. You just want someone who has a really good credit score, but you're not going to get as much in return, and you're okay with that. So you can decide. You get to choose and pick what kind of investor you are. You high risk or low risk, and then go from there. So that's the beauty about it. So if you want to get started, I would check out some of these two websites because they make it pretty simple to get started. I don't have any straight up source to send you to that will show you exactly how to set it up, right? I would just go to these websites and kind of start from there. All right, and number 4 cash flow income producing asset that you can consider is cash flowing real estate. Okay, so we've all heard about real estate. Now with real estate, there are two different ways that you can make money with real estate. Either one, you can buy a property, right? You buy out the property and then you fix that property, right? And then you sell that property for a higher price, or basically flipping. It's called fix and flipping, right? The idea is to buy the property at a reduced market price, okay? Which usually means that it's probably something wrong with it. So you need to have money to invest in not only purchasing the property, but also renovating it, okay? And then you want to renovate it so that it comes to like not only market value, but to that point where people would probably pay a little bit more for it, and then you flip it, all right, for that price to a loving family that wants it. You've seen it on HGTV and all of that. But the key thing is to understand, right, the market price in your neighborhood, in your area, and having the financing to be able to make this move. I like this because it's a great way to make cash, like a lot of money in one flip. But the problems with it is that people don't realize there's a lot of work that goes into fixing and flipping. If you don't have enough cash and you miscalculate, you will be stuck in the middle of your flip and it'll be a complete flop. You'll lose everything. Or if you don't calculate properly the market values and what you're renovating and how you're fixing it and how it pertains to the market that you're in, you can end up having to like sell it for less than it cost you to invest. On top of the fact that there's so many little knick-knack things that show up. HGTV makes it look sexy, but the truth of the matter is that it is a very complex game, and it takes time and patience to pay attention to. Rather, I much prefer the other model, which is where you find a property. Sometimes you may need to fix it up, and sometimes maybe not. You get it at a good market price, and then you rent it out. Okay, you rent it out to qualified individuals and people that will pay you rent. So the rent money is like slowly. This is why it's cash flowing, because over time, every single month, you're getting a return on cash flow, a return on the money every single month. And this makes it a little bit more predictable, as you have usually about your leases are like 6 months to a year, and you can determine the individuals who you're renting out, right? Making sure that they're qualified, they have jobs, they have good credit score. You minimize your risk like that. And the good thing too is you can also invest in like property managers that will do all of this work for you. Okay, they'll do all of this work for you. Now, getting started takes a little bit more money, right? Because you need money to be able to invest in this initial property. So that's why I don't do cash flow real estate as much, because it requires so much more money up front to do it. And right now, the real estate market is just overvaluated for me at this point. So it's just not something I prefer right now, but it's definitely something you definitely would want to get into when the real estate market is right, because it's a great way to not only get appreciation on the money that you invest in this property, but also getting cash flow every single month because of the people you're renting out to. To me, it just has less risk. It's more of a long-term game. Now, if you wanted to get started with this, I'd probably say the best way as a beginner is start saving your cash, right? So that you have something for a down payment, and then start doing more homework, more research, because you want to find people who are doing this and are doing it successfully. There's people in your local area who are doing this and are masters at it. You want to get with those people. I wouldn't jump into any of those programs on TV that that are out there charging you thousands of dollars to learn how to do this. No, just find people in your local area, like local real estate investment clubs that are doing this. Network. I'm telling you, that's probably my best advice for you right there. There's also a website called biggerpockets.com you can check out, where they basically have people who are doing this full time for a living, managing real estate, making money, doing it. So that's a great place to find answers and questions and get started learning more. But I definitely love real estate a lot because of the fact that you can have an appreciation and value in the property. You have owned something and it's giving you passive income, automated cash flow, okay, every single month. I know firefighters who are using this plan right now, these guys, to like basically fund their entire retirement, okay? So you can do the exact same thing. All right, number 3 cash flow investing income producing asset that you definitely want to consider is what's called a whole life cash flow policy. Now, you may have heard of it in different names. It's called cash flow investing, or infinite banking, or cash flow banking, or owning your own bank. Now, here's how it works. Essentially, what it is a whole life insurance policy. Okay. Now, it's not a regular life insurance policy that you may get at like a regular insurance company. No. These are specifically designed so that not only do you get an insurance life benefit, but specifically they allow you to maximize the cash value of the policy, okay? So that you can pour cash into the policy, okay? And then that cash in that policy gives you a ton of benefits, okay? So if this is you and you start up this whole life cash insurance policy, right? What would be happening is that every month you would be putting money into it, just like you put money into a savings account, into any investment. But here are some of the benefits. Number 1, you get credit from it, right? So what's cool about it is that you can put money inside it, and I'm gonna get to the cash flow part of it, why that matters to you, why you care. But I want to show you some of these benefits because it's amazing. Number 1, you can get credit off of it. The money you put inside this policy, you can take a loan off of anytime you want. Okay, let me repeat that. Anytime you want, you can take a loan off of it. So over 5 years, let's say you've been putting $100 in, and I don't know what that number is, but let's say it's $5,000. Okay, you have $5,000 in this policy. You can take a loan out on that money anytime you want to invest in anything, like say real estate, or or loan it out, like what we just talked about. Anytime you want, with basically no questions asked. Basically, like how you take a loan out from another lender, they ask you your whole life business, right? This one, none of that, and it's fast. Okay. Number 2, you get a guaranteed return on these policies because they're not invested in the stock market. Okay, and that's the reason why they can basically pay you. Now, these policies are with mutual life insurance companies, and what that means is that generally you are a partner with the company. This is different from mutual funds, okay? With these mutual life insurance companies, you're a partner with them, so you share in the profits, which means you get these guaranteed returns, usually about 3 to 4% or 5%, depending on the different company at the time. Guaranteed return. So it's like a very fancy, much more beneficial savings account. Because when you look at savings accounts now, they're like 0.01%, and it is what you're getting return on. They're nothing. And it's tax-free, okay? And it's private, so no banker, no creditors, not even bankruptcy could touch it. It's protected. Like, let's say someone tries to sue you, or your ex-wife or ex-spouse tries to take money from you. When you're divorced, it can't be touched. And of course, you get an insurance benefit. But why do you care about it in terms of cash flow? Bam, right here. It pays a dividend, okay? They pay dividends. Now, my understanding is that it pays out a dividend, depending on your insurance company that you're with, they pay out a dividend like once every year. But the dividend can be range between 3 to 5% of the total value of your cash value in the policy. So whatever the cash value of your policy is, in other words, the money that you've been putting in every single month, saving it, it pays you out a dividend, okay? That's automatic cash, automatic money paid to you on autopilot just for saving money, okay? Just for saving your money in this type of policy, okay? This is one of my favorite because I love dividends, okay? I love them. They're automatic money that pays out to you, cash money you put in your pocket, cash flow, okay? Green paper, bread that's being put in your pocket. This is what I love it so much. The dividends you get though vary. They range between about 3 to 5%. It's dependent on the profitability of the insurance company. Remember this, but because you're a partner in the insurance company, they're gonna take those profits and divvy it up to everybody that's part of the insurance company. In this case, you. So this is one of the few times where insurance is actually a good thing, because generally I hate insurance, right? But in this case, mutual life insurance companies using a whole life insurance policy is absolute win because of the cash flow and amongst all the other benefits. I highly recommend it. So if you want to know a good place to start, this is kind of where I learned it, to be honest with you, was Mike Dillard, my boy Mike Dillard. He has a podcast episode that's called How to Build Wealth with Infinite Banking. I highly encourage you to check that out. It's a great starting point to learn more about this. And oh, by the way, if you're wondering, oh, do I need a whole lot of money? No, you can fund a cash flow policy like this with like a very small amount. I guarantee you, whatever amount you think you have, you can get started, and the benefits you'll get from it are incredible, okay? So definitely check that out, and I think that's a great place to get started. All right, what's number 2 for income producing assets that are cash flowing that you need to be thinking about? Dividend-paying stocks, okay? These are probably one of my favorite. Oh, by the way, I want to share with you how you can do all these things even if you have no money, even if you're afraid of losing money, how you can do this without that fear, okay? It's really, really important. I'm going to share with you at the end of this. But let's talk about dividend-paying stocks, okay? Now, what is that? That is basically a company that pays you dividends. You'll notice that I'm a big fan of dividends. Why? Why should you care? Okay, here you go. Here's a company, okay? The stock market, and you've heard of it, is full of companies, not stocks. These are companies, businesses that make stuff. They make products, they make services, and they sell them. When they sell them, they make revenue, okay? That's revenue. When they sell stuff. Now, just like any business, they gotta pay bills, okay? They gotta pay employees, overhead, costs, development, all kinds of things. That's their bills. When all that stuff is paid for, what's left is what's called earnings, okay? Or profits. That's it. Earnings and profits after you've paid all your bills from selling stuff that helps people and impact people's lives. Now, what's interesting is that many companies will also do something with their earnings called paying dividends, okay? All it is paying off extra money to shareholders as an appreciation for holding their stock, okay? Because if you bought a stock from this company, that means you are a shareholder. You own a portion of this company. Now, it may be a small percentage, but it's a share nonetheless, which means that you get to benefit in the profit sharing, okay? This is very similar to the third one we talked about with the whole life cash insurance policy, where you're benefiting in the profit sharing with the insurance companies because you have ownership. Same thing with these stocks in these companies. Now, you need to actually own a stock from the company, not like an index fund or an ETF or anything, because then you don't own stocks in the company, okay? Now you kind of do, but not kind of really. So I recommend the actual company itself, like Apple, for example, owning its stock. It pays you dividends. Now, here's you. If you bought a stock, you are now a stockholder or a shareholder, which means you get paid dividends based on those stocks. Now, here's the beauty about this. Number one, it's consistent, okay? Consistently paying out income every single time. Now, most companies, they pay out their dividends like every 3 months. So 4 times a year, every quarter. That's consistent money, consistent cash flow, income flowing into your pocket, cash. Dividends paid to you automatically, autopilot. You literally don't need to do anything except for hold the stock. Literally, that's it. That's as more passive. I don't think it gets any more passive than that, right? Next thing, better performance. I have found personally when I started investing as a dividend investor in the stock market, my performance in my portfolio was way better. Like it exceeded typical performances that I had in the past where I was investing in like more growth stocks or doing other type of stocks. Dividend paying stocks always are like they flow with earnings, and as long as there's earnings growth, they're generally going to pay out dividends. And even if the stock goes down, it'll always bounce back to the earnings trajectory and the price that it's at. So you always get paid, just better performance. And then guess what? You only need a small amount to get started, which is one of my favorite things. You can like save $10, $15, $20 every single pay period, or maybe $100, whatever you can, and start investing. Now, I particularly am not investing very much in the stock market right now because, truth be told, the stock market is completely overvalued. See my other video where I talk about some of the secret investments that the rich are doing right now, and it's not stocks, okay? But if you were to get into the stocks, and when it does become more valuable and worthy of purchase, then dividend would be one of the best ways to do it. If you want to learn how to do it, I don't have a recommended resource, to be honest with you. I'm actually working on that right now. I'm working on something for you guys, okay? But in the meantime, I'd probably say one of the best places is to go to seekingalpha.com. Okay, that was one of the places that I've gone to where I would learn a ton. There's a lot of contributors there that write, and they know a lot of good information. So seek out the people who are all about dividend paying stocks, dividend income, and learn from them right there and read their stuff. I think it's a great place to get started. I will also eventually do a video on how to basically start up an investment account, individual investment account, where you can start investing in stocks, dividend paying stocks, and step by step how to do that. I'll eventually do a video on that too, and then I will link to it so you have that as well. All right, and then the number one income producing cash flow asset that I think is just so powerful is cash flowing businesses, okay? People don't realize that one of the best investments that you can make is in yourself, okay? If you invest in yourself and your ability to create value, to produce, to do something for others that impacts others, you make cash money, okay? That's pretty much how it works. And the better you are at doing that for other people, the more money you make. For instance, if you take yourself here, and remember, it doesn't take much. All it takes is a talent that you may have, an interest in anything that you may have, curiosity, even if you don't know anything about it, but you're just curious about it, okay? And you want to learn more about it, all right? And you know you have a problem or a solution that you can solve for a problem that allows you to create a product or service, okay? I mean, and I have a bunch of videos on this channel all about this exact process. This product and service can be any number of things, from things that you created yourself to things that other people have created that you're just referring people to that brings people value. And I don't know why, I think I can see it slanting your hair, but whatever. And it makes you money, okay? And it's as simple as that. For me, I find that some of the simplest businesses to start are internet-based businesses. Why? Because they don't require a lot of money to get started, okay? You don't have to know anybody to get started, okay? So no money, no experience, you don't need a network of people, and it's really simple to do, especially if you're working full-time. You can invest an hour, you can do it from home, and just to spend a little bit of time every day to build your asset, your income, cash flowing, producing asset. This thing that will continue to produce income for you over and over and over again. Now, I prefer specific types that do that, especially affiliate marketing. Once again, you don't need your own product or service. You can make money by referring other people to other products and services that help them via YouTube, via blogging, via podcasting. See, these are ways to create assets that cash flow continuously, what they call cash cows, over and over and over again, continuously, and they build upon itself. Perpetual cash flow. Ooh, my favorite, okay? And then freelancing, for example, so that's not perpetual and it's not continuous, but it's a great way just to get cash flow going. That's why I love business as an asset. Anybody can get started from anywhere with any amount of time you have. It doesn't matter how busy you are, how much experience you don't have. If you're not techie, it does not matter. You can do any of these things. It takes time, but if you start slowly but surely, just like with all these assets, you start producing the cash flow, start bringing value, and you start using this cash flow to invest in the other assets that we talked about, building your empire of wealth, okay? Which gives you what? Time, freedom, abundance, to do what? Impact the lives of other people, to do your calling, to do the things that you've been called to do, right? To serve your purpose, that feeling of fulfillment. Now, let's talk about the one way you can do this and not lose any money, okay? How you can invest in all these cash flow producing assets without the fear of losing money. And that's I kind of talked about it, investing in you, okay? You. I remember Robert Kiyosaki talking about this, and he's true, right? There is no risky assets. There's just risky investors, okay? So like, for example, when I first got started, I lost money in a lot of businesses. I lost money in some of the stocks that I invested in. Why? Because I didn't understand. I didn't have all the information. And that's okay though, because instead of taking it as an L for loss, I took it as an L for learning, okay? I learned. I started studying more and learning from my mistakes. mistakes and getting better and better. And that's all that you can ask for yourself. Invest in yourself, invest in your education, in your financial understanding, in businesses, and just start doing something. Pick any one of these 5 and start to learn more. Invest the time and energy to learn more. As you learn, you minimize your risk. You start to see what older people can't see, and you start to realize, wow, this is not that bad. It's pretty simple. If I just do this, do that, and do this, don't do this, and don't do that, I'll make money pretty simply. There's always risk, but you minimize your risk incredibly by being more knowledgeable, having understanding, and seeing what's happening. So that's it, my friend. I hope you got value. I hope this was helpful. If you did, and you're ready to get paid with these cash flow investing ideas, then all I want you to do is give this video a like, all right? Consider subscribing to that channel. Tell me which one of these you plan on implementing that got you the most excited, that you're going to start learning about today, right now. Give it to me in the comment section below. And oh, by the way, if you're seeing these ideas and you're like, oh great, Chris, I want to get started, but I don't have any money, how can I make more money? Then hey, and probably build on what we talked about in number 1, then check out this video right here, okay? Then show you exactly how you can start making more money no matter where you are, what you got, and start to get started right now. And that's videos getting started right now in 3, 2, 1, let's go.